Today's theme is all about self-care, putting yourself first on the mat and being okay with that. Grab some comfy props like a blanket, pillow, bolster, and come join me. Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra. Close your eyes. Just be for a moment. Slow, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And I want you to begin to recognize your restorative practice as a form of self-care. So consciously letting go, let go of the day, let go of whatever you think you got going on tomorrow. And let's just try to pull within, be present. Kind of that pulling within might mean doing a body scan so that you can really identify if and where you're holding tension, any ailments the body's experiencing, noticing sensations, sounds. Using all your tools to come to the present and to hopefully stay in the present. And kind of mentally preparing yourself for a very restorative class, knowing that it is so okay to not do a whole lot on the mat. Allowing the body to relax and restore is plenty. And I have a great poem to share with you in a moment. But first, inhale, take both arms up. Exhale to the heart. Go ahead and set your intention. And I want you to attach to it something about acknowledging that this is your time and it is an aspect of self-care and that you're going to embrace that. And then go ahead, release the arms when you're ready. Drawing your attention to your breath. And taking your breath to 3-part breathing, which if you're not familiar with is inhaling into the abdomen as much as you can solely. So you should see and feel the stomach push outward, drawing the breath into the ribs and hopefully feeling or identifying this 3-dimensional expansion. And then bringing the rest of that inhale up into the chest. As far as the nose, you could even visualize bringing it to the crown chakra. That's up to you. You're exhaling in reverse order. It's always the count of breaking it into thirds when you're ready. One more time. And then just letting go of the control. Inhale the arms. Exhale back to your heart. All right. So I do want to set up something here on the ground, but a couple of things first. I want to make sure we're all good with understanding what Yoga Mudra looks like while we're seated so that we can try it laying down. If the bottom shoulder isn't happy with Yoga Mudra on your side, you're going to change it up, and I'm going to help you do that. But let's make sure that we get Yoga Mudra, right? You can start, if you want, by bringing the shoulders up, back, and down. As they come down, you pull the shoulder blades in together. Hands are going to clasp, ideally, palm to palm if you can. If you can't, it's okay. And then everything is coming in and down, right? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Grab your blanket, because I also want to give you a little bit of support for the shoulder. All right, I'm just going to toss that blanket, whichever way your head's going to be. This blanket is going to be on that end of your mat. And then I'm going to kind of turn, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn my back to you because you won't be able to see Yoga Mudra. But let me start you off first. So come on down onto your, we'll say your left side. I'm going to let my shoulder, my bottom shoulder rest on this blanket, but I'm taking the arm behind me. So there's a couple of options here. If you're happy like that and you can get the head down, that's fine. If you're not, you can fold the blanket over for your head. What I might also suggest is something a little interesting, I think. Pull that blanket down a little farther, get the shoulder over it so it's more at armpit level. And then I'm going to show you a trick on the other side when I turn over. I just want you to see what's happening with the rest of the body. So the right foot is going to come in front of that left leg, okay? Like I said, if you've got the blanket underneath the armpit, which I think is more comfortable, but you don't like where the head's going to end up, pop back up for a second, add a block out there, okay? Now I'm going to turn around. So I'm going to get my arm over the blanket, but watch, I'm going to take my arm underneath the blanket so that the blanket isn't messing up my Yoga Mudra, right? All right, I'm going to use the block for my head. I think that's comfortable. When you're ready, let the top arm come behind you, palms will find each other, and then go ahead and draw the shoulder blades in, straighten out the arms. You're going to feel this as a stretch on that bottom shoulder. So again, if that is not working for you, I don't want you to do it. In fact, what I'd rather you do then is just take that bottom arm and bring it straight out in front. If you want to, then you could take the top arm around behind you, maybe fingers come underneath your left side. So this is all about what's good for your body. I feel like with the props we're using that this is all right. But again, completely dependent on your body. This is a theme about self-care, self-compassion. So if you get here and it's not doing it for you, you know, you got to make the switch because I can't see you. All right, close your eyes. We're not going to stay here super long. I just want this to be a gentle stretch on that bottom shoulder. But I don't want to take your mind into chaos. Like, how much longer is this going to last? So give me a few deep breaths here. I also should mention, you know, this pose really isn't about what the legs are doing. So if you kind of like the stretch on the arms, you're not happy with the legs, you could bend them, put the top one right on top of the bottom leg. So play around, see what's going to work for you. All right, empty out the lungs. Slow, deep, complete inhale. Huge exhale. So I'm going to get my top arm back around. As I do, can you just feel the relief on that bottom shoulder as you kind of come forward a little bit? Go ahead, straighten out that top leg. Now I do want to push my right hand into the mat, get this bottom arm out, bring it forward, let it relax. And of course, if you would rather have the knees bent so you don't feel like you're wobbling, that's okay. So thinking about what are some things that hold you back from self-care, from whatever self-care means to you. It might be getting on your mat, but it might be something completely different. What holds you back? Okay, I'm assuming you might have an answer by now. The answer I hear a lot is it's selfish. Like it's going to take time away from other people, other things to focus on yourself. And why time focused on yourself translates into selfishness, I'm not super sure, not on board with that. So if that's you and you're thinking, yeah, it's selfish of me to set aside time for myself, I'm going to challenge you on that thought process. All right, give me another deep breath in. Another cleansing exhale. So we're going to take this to the other side. Probably the easiest thing to do here is roll onto your back, gracefully do some wiggling and maneuvering to come onto the other side. Get that arm, bottom arm behind you and underneath the blanket. Top arm coming around behind you to find Yoga Mudra. Straighten out the bottom leg if you like. Top foot in front of that thigh. Again, if you don't like the legs, then go ahead and bend them and put one on top of the other. Empty out the lungs. Slow, deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. And then if you have that left foot in front of the right, let's go ahead and get the knees on one on top of each other. Bring the top arm over. Start to tip forward a little bit. Free that bottom arm, taking it directly out in front of you. Just close your eyes. All right, I said I had a poem to share with you. This poem is by Britton Oakman, and it's called Anxiety Doesn't Knock First. I lied and said I was busy. I was busy, but not in a way most people understand. I was busy taking deeper breaths. I was busy silencing irrational thoughts. I was busy calming a racing heart. I was busy telling myself I am okay. Sometimes This is my busy, and I will not apologize for it. So, not apologizing for our self-care and our self-care on the mat, right? Go ahead, give me a deep breath in and let it go. All right, so go ahead and roll to your back. I want that blanket to end up underneath the mid-back, kind of at the base of where the shoulder blades start. And can we move that block aside if you're using it for a pillow? So super gentle elevation of the heart chakra, feet wide, knees together. And then let's just take the arms overhead. Maybe one hand can clasp the other wrist. Settle in, close your eyes. Why are we elevating the heart chakra? Well, this whole idea of taking time for one's self is going to have to correlate with your heart. Heart chakra is about self-love and compassion. And so, of course, when we're setting that time aside, we are evoking that chakra. If you are a visualizer, the color of the heart chakra, green or pink, so perhaps you might want to imagine you're breathing in that color of air and it's swirling around, embracing the heart. It can be a combination of green and pink. And then let's go ahead and interlace the fingers, turn the palms away from the crown chakra, stretch the arms out, reaching overhead on the floor. On your next inhale, bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Notice where the shoulders are. If they're off the ground, let's set them back down. Deep inhale. As you exhale, turn the palms to each other. Exhale back to the heart. When you're ready, you'll release the arms. Let's get both knees to come on down to one side or the other. So we're coming into a fetal position. I know you're still on that blanket. It'll be okay. When you push your way up, keep your eyes closed. Let the head hang heavy so that we're really taking our time, kind of embracing each little movement, each muscle that helps to draw us all the way back up to center. And then softly open your eyes, finding your drishti, your gaze. All right, I'm going to leave that blanket right there. Let's go ahead, get our feet tucked underneath us. I just have my toes kind of right up against that blanket. We're not using it quite yet, but it's where I'm going to want it. All right, hands are going to reach behind you to rest on that blanket. Start to round out the spine. Drop the chin. Hold it right there. So actively push the shins down towards the mat. Option A is right here. Option B, lift the knees off the mat. If you lifted the knees, go ahead and set them back down. Push your way back up. Hands to the mat. That's just a support for you. I'm going to take my weight forward, tuck my toes underneath, and this is where that blanket's going to come in handy. So first, what I want to do, reach back, make sure all 10 toes are tucked underneath. You can grab that blanket. I'm going to fold mine over so it's taller. Bring that right up underneath the heels. See if that helps at all for broken toe pose. You might really want to tuck that blanket. We won't be here super long, but will you lengthen out through the spine? Take the hands to the heart. Inhale the arms up, follow with the gaze. Exhale, hands back to the heart center. Release the hands. Release those broken toes. All right, come back to just a normal seated position for a moment. We're going to give the toes a break. Let them recuperate. Close your eyes. We're drawing that left, that's my right. We're drawing the right shoulder up towards the right ear. Drop the left shoulder, let it get really heavy. Breathe here. Probably feels weird, I'm sure it looks weird, but my eyes are closed so I can't see you and maybe can see me, I don't know. All right, slowly switch. Take the left shoulder back down. Both shoulders up. Exhale them down. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, hand comes to rest on top of the head and pull the head down towards that right shoulder. Left shoulder grows heavy. As you take that right arm back up to the ceiling, bring the head to center. Exhale the arm down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand to the top of the head. Pull it down towards that left shoulder. Inhale, left arm up, head to center. Exhale, the left arm down. Fabulous. Both hands on the knees, palms down. Round this out and hold it. Slowly lengthen to come back to center. Grab. Oh, you probably know by now what to grab. We're coming into a fold, so only you know how high or how low that tower should be or somewhere in the middle. So grab whatever props you need for the floor and the forehead, the third eye, to somehow meet. All right, when you're ready, come on down. We're going to stay here for a few, depending. This is really dependent on how you're balanced and what your head is on. Just give you the opportunity to do something different with the arms. But again, that really depends on how much of your weight is in your arms or your hands, right? So if your forehead is not touching anything and you're using the arms for support, stay right there. If your forehead is resting on something and you feel pretty confident that you could lift your arms up, if you wanted to, you could take the left arm around behind your low back. We could stretch that right arm forward if you like, and then draw open that left shoulder. So again, it's up to you. Maybe you think it's something else. And then go ahead and switch sides. And then release that arm. And then walk your way back up. All right, so what we need is, we need that blanket. I was wondering where mine went. Back out behind you. That's going to be for your neck. I'm going to need a block on my left side, and I need the bolster. All right, once I have all this, we are laying back. The bolster is going to go between your bent knees. I want to make sure I come down and get my neck super comfortable first before I add on here. All right, so hug in on that bolster, and we're going to bring the feet in, excuse me, knees to the heart. So if you need to grab the bolster to help out here, go for it. And then arms are going to open wide, straight out from the shoulders. The legs are coming down to the left. I want my legs to end up on that block. So slowly, and you might need to change the height of the block. If you want to add another block, you can. But just make sure it ends up so that the legs feel like they can let go. And you don't need to work to hold them there. All right, you stay there. I want you to picture, let's make it a stream and a bridge across it, and you're on the bridge. Take a moment to give that bridge some character. What do you want it to look like? What is it made out of? I'm kind of seeing mine, I don't know why, but what came into my head was a wooden bridge, but it looks like I took colored chalk and drew pictures all over it. So whatever you want your bridge to look like. And I want you to look down at the water. Let it have a very peaceful, happy pace to the water. So it's moving, but it's not angry. It's not in a rush. And it's not moving so slowly that we can barely see what's going on. It's a happy, meandering stream. I want you to incorporate a really gentle, warm, fabulous breeze. And the purpose of the breeze is to deposit a small pile of leaves at your feet on the bridge. So I want you to see yourself reaching down to pick up a handful of those leaves and just hold them or, rest them. I'm assuming there's some kind of barrier that you're leaning on perhaps over that stream. If we're going to work on self-care, self-love, and compassion, we're gonna have to let go of some stuff, right? Letting go to make room for hopefully all beautiful, positive, good things. So each leaf is going to represent a stressor, a worry, something you want to get rid of, let go of. As you figure out what that is and you attach it to each leaf, you're going to drop the leaf down into the stream. and watch that stressor, that worry, that thought be swept away. If you like, you can watch that leaf till you can no longer see it so that you know you've let it go. If you're more about getting things done quickly, you could let go of leaves one after another and create a stream of them going down. Totally up to you. We're going to stay with this image, but I do want to switch you to the other side. So very slowly, bringing the knees up, moving your block, taking the knees down to the other side, and continue attaching something to those leaves to let go of. You have an infinite pile if you need it. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more carefree, perhaps lighter. Perhaps the realization is settling in that we don't have to stay connected to these attachments. When you're ready, take a deep inhale, cleansing exhale. You can always go back to the leaves on the water if you need to. But for the time being, we're going to move forward. We're going to pull the knees back up to center, set the feet down. I want to allow the bolster to fall down horizontally across my mat. At the same time, I want to scooch down my mat a little bit. If you have room, up above you, you're probably fine. But I'm going to scooch down a little bit because what I want to do is take that blanket and I want to put it further up behind me so that if my arms are straight, my wrists can rest on the blanket and my legs are going to come into cobbler, Baddha Konasana, right up on top of the bolster. Now, you can add to this if you want to. If you feel like your legs need a little bit of assistance here, put a block underneath each thigh. I don't want your elbows feeling like they're kind of hanging in space and allowing that to be uncomfortable, because I kind of want the arms to relax. So if you want to bend the elbows, take them a little bit wider, you can. You could scooch that blanket in a little closer if that's better. And then just settling in right here. Going back to that poem, we could say that right now we are so busy. We are too busy to be disturbed by anyone else in the house. We're too busy to be disturbed by social media or by the phone. We're too busy to be disturbed. I was going to say by a pet, but I guess if they really they need you, right? That they can't hold. But let's just sit here and be okay with this is our busy. This is us allowing the heart rate to settle, the breath to find its own rhythm in a calm, precious way. We're very busy. I changed up my legs to sit up, but we're very busy working on this hip opener, Baddha Konasana, right? We're busy laying here on the earth. If it's evening for you, we've been up and walking around probably most of the day. Maybe we were at work. And now we're busy finding that earth connection. We're busy noticing the breath. Oh, and guess what else? We're okay with all of that. So let's go ahead and slowly straighten out the left leg right over the bolster. And then let's hug that right knee in. Hands will slip around to behind the right thigh as you straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. You can always use your strap if that leg doesn't come close enough for you, right? Especially if you find that you need to lift the head and shoulders to reach the back of that leg. I don't necessarily mind that, but I'd rather then that you take a block and somehow prop your head up so that you're not working and the neck doesn't get tired. This is supposed to be about finding peace here on the mat. So I don't want the neck muscles working too hard. You can't reach the leg at all. You're releasing judgment. Kind of like the block under the neck. I did it to show you, but if you want to add that, it does feel pretty darn good. We're going to take this right leg and we're going to cradle it across the body. Right hand to the inner right sole. That knee stays wide. We're just going to lift the shin parallel to the ground and the ceiling and then gently pull down. Half happy baby. When you're ready, guide that leg back in a little bit and then straighten it out over the, I was going to say the mat, over the bolster. Close your eyes. What do you feel? When you're ready, hug that left knee in. Hands come behind the thighs. Straighten that leg to the ceiling. And we're going to cradle the leg. Left hand to the inner left sole. Remember, the knee stays wide. We're coming into half happy baby, so just need to get that shin up and down, and then the hand will weight that leg down a little bit. And then go ahead and bring that leg in a little bit, help guide it, and then send it on its way, stretching out over the bolster. Close your eyes. Bringing your focus back to sensation that you most likely feel somewhere in the legs. Staying with the breath. All right, deep inhale. Loud exhale. I would suggest rolling to a side for a moment. When you're ready, we're simply coming back up just to set up another restorative pose, but we kind of need to see what's around us. So as you're ready, we are going to need either the bolster in 2 blocks, or if you don't have a bolster, 2 blocks will suffice. We also need a strap. So let's go ahead and put a loop in that strap. Okay. If you have the bolster, it's coming across your mat about middle of the way, horizontally. If you don't have a bolster, you're going to sit on one of the blocks, okay? The second block is going out in front of you for your feet or ankles to rest on. If you have the bolster, though, you could kind of indulge yourself a little bit and have a block for each foot. But let's do something here with the legs so they don't have to work at all. So let's get our feet through that loop we made, and then go ahead and tie this pretty tightly around the thighs. I still have my blanket tossed out behind me. I'm totally fine with that if you want to keep that there. So this is kind of like a supported bridge. I feel like I'm too close to the wall. I scooch along. All right, get those hands behind you to help you inch your way down. And then go ahead and straighten out the legs to find the blocks. You should be able to totally relax your legs because the strap is hugging in on you and holding them in place. Wherever you would like the arms to end up is good with me. And then just settling in with the breath. I want you to think about all of those attachments that you let go of in the stream and kind of equating. This is going to be challenging for some of us because I literally picked up bunches of leaves and threw them in my vision, so it's going to be a little harder for me. But if you threw single leaves, let's just say for a second, you know that you threw in 6. I want you to think of 6 words that are self-care kind of words that you can focus on breathing in and replacing that space with. So it might be patience, it might be love, whatever. If you threw in handfuls like me, I think that we as a group just need to focus on whatever we need to bring in, right? So it could be the same words, you just might not be equating it leaf for leaf. All right, when you're ready, deep breath in, loud sigh. So I think what might be the easiest solution here is to start inching the feet in towards you, especially depending on how tight that strap is. I'm just going to reach and grab that strap and pull both knees into my heart. While the legs are right here, let's go ahead and free them from that strap. I'm going to set the feet down, lift the hips, and move that bolster out from underneath me. I can settle back down on the earth. Here we're going to hug the knees in again. Just feeling the low back round out against the mat. If you want to, you can lift the head and shoulders up, get into a really tight ball. You could rock this out. And then we'll slowly release everything. I do want you to pause to think about your props and what you're going to want for Shavasana. So in fact, you can set that up right now if you want. Just grabbing and pulling things over to wherever you want them to be. Super comfortable. Give you a moment to settle into your space. I want you to see yourself back on your bridge. Everything is peaceful, quiet. There are no longer leaves on your bridge. You have already handled that. You've dealt with the stressors or the worries or the baggage you're hanging on to. You've already let it go. I want you to notice as you look down into the water, how clear the stream is. There's not a leaf in sight. They have all been long since swept away. And there's only the happy rumble of the water spilling over rocks as it follows its path, knowing exactly where it wants to go. And here, I'm going to suggest that perhaps you see yourself sitting down on that bridge. If you want there all of a sudden to be a really comfy chair on your bridge, that's great. But settling in such a way that the body is supported and you can close your eyes and you can focus simply on the sounds of the water, very peaceful, gentle sounds of the water. You notice that your body is letting go as it gets heavier, that your body feels completely relaxed and at peace. You take your focus to your heart space and you are able to tap into this feeling that your heart is so happy with you. You gave it this time to focus on self-care, self-love, compassion, whatever word you want to use. But you allowed for it. And in doing so, you listened to the needs of your heart. You acknowledge that feminine left side of the body that says, nurture me, take care of me. You notice your breath growing softer as you become more and more peaceful. The sound of the water, mesmerizing, almost hypnotizing. You focus on the sound of the water, the sound of the water, the sound of your breath. I'll see you on the other side of Shavasana. As you bring your focus back to your breath, will you allow yourself to smile with gratitude at how busy you just were, how busy you were letting go? Because I recognize that isn't always easy. And then taking a deep inhale. Follow that up with a cleansing exhale. And if you want to, invite some movement back into the hands and the feet. If you feel like you need to stretch, go ahead, stretch the arms, stretch the legs. And very peacefully roll to a side. And gently push your way back up. Deep inhale. Loud exhale. Inhale, both arms up, palms together. Exhale them back home to your heart, Anjali Mudra. The light in me bows to the light in you. When I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.